Donuts, Deb. Good morning, good morning. Good to see you all here. While everybody is coming in, we're just going to go right into greeting. So keep chatting, keep talking. If you see people walk in, make sure you go say hello if there's somebody you don't know. So, ready, set, go. Don't sit down yet. Go talk or grab another donut. Look at that. You already made your way to your seats yourself. It's like this natural progression of things. Well done. Well done. Good morning. Welcome. We're glad you're all here this morning. My name is Teresa. I'm one of the pastors here if we haven't met yet. Glad to have you here with us this morning. If you are online joining us, we are glad you're joining us that way as well. So, it is good to be together. And a sunny, yes, it's still cold, but it's sunny and we're getting there. It is cool, Deb. Okay, fine. It's still cold. It's fine. A couple of things that are coming up that you need to know about. You'll hear more about a couple of other things later on this morning, but some things to celebrate here. We have some great things coming up in the life of the branch. One of those is the very best, amazing, most wonderful art camp in the history of all humanity. I'm setting the bar real high, setting it real high. But I think we've met it, and we're just going to hang on to it. We call it Create, and that's what we do all week long. We create with kids, and we invite community kids and our kids and all your friends and neighbors and school friends to come create with us. This year we have 10 different classes, so a few different age groups. Each get 3 or 4 choices. We have 3 teachers this year in our class that used to be Create campers. So they've grown up in Create, and now they're teaching classes, which is really beautiful to see. We've had registration open here for just this week, and we have, out of 11 total kids registered, there are only 3 kids from the branch community that are registered. All the rest are community kids. 6 of those, I don't know these names, so they're not ones that we've seen in past years. So that is something to celebrate. And register your kids. That is the other note there. Register your kids. Share the invitation with friends and neighbors and nieces, nephews, grandkids, cousins, anybody who you think would appreciate a week of creative fun. This is, it's different than VBS in the area. There are a lot of those opportunities, but this is just creating for the sake of creating and connecting with one another. So if you have any questions, Lindsay, would you raise your hand, wave your hand? Bethany's in the back. You can ask any one of us 3, and we can point you in the right direction to get involved with that. All right. Tonight, the BEMA discussion group is meeting at the Carroll's house. And then on Saturday, our next installment of our book club will be meeting. This book is How to Fight Racism by Jamar Tisby. And Sarah Jane is going to host that at her home. All the details are up there in your app. If you don't have the book, if you need help accessing the book, please come talk to me or to Chris. We would love to help you connect with that great book. So first conversation about it this Saturday. Next one, June 13, I think is the date. But all those details are in your Church Center app, as are the details for anything and everything that we're talking about here today. So make sure you go there and check those things out. We also want to celebrate the fact that we have steward nominations. Our steward team, everybody serves for 3 years, but every single year there's 2 new stewards that come on the team. And this year, up for nomination, Dale Hulst is our Stewards of Resource nomination, and Katie is not here this morning. Katie Madison is our Steward of Care nominee. We will vote on those as partners on May 31st, and you'll get an email about that coming up here as well. So just wanted to celebrate those 2 and their willingness to say yes, and their willingness to serve in that way. All right? Okay. One more thing to share, and then we'll move on. Next Sunday, ready for something you really never hear me say? Couple of things you never hear me say. Will you please come next Sunday? Have you ever heard me say those words? No. Here's why. We would love to have as many people here as possible next Sunday because we are kicking off a capital campaign. Those are also words you don't ever hear me say. Those words might come with some emotion. They might come with some baggage. Whatever that is for you, we want to name that and say, yeah, we know. It comes with it for me too. I can feel it right now. But there are some things about our building that need to be addressed, and we know those, and they are pretty big ticket items, and we want to be able to take care of them so that we can be this space for all of us every single Sunday, so that we can be this space of belonging and welcome for all who use our building throughout the week, on the weekends, for all the different partner organizations, all the good things we're able to do because we own this space and this building. So next Sunday, we'll tell you all about how we hope to accomplish that. So we really want you to be here. We'll probably have cake or something, so come have cake. We had donuts today. Come back, we'll have something. But we really think it's important to be together as we look into the future and we celebrate who we can be for years and years and years to come. All right? All right. Joan is going to come up and lead us here in a call to worship as we continue on this morning. Thank you, Joan. Your words will be up on the screen in gold.
We come today carrying questions we cannot answer. We come with futures we cannot see. We come tired and uncertain. We come joyful and scared. We do not need to see the whole road. So come, let us take the next step in our journeys.
I'm going to invite you to stand and sing with me a song that is pretty familiar to most of you, I think. We're going to sing together Instrument of Peace. You can have a seat. I didn't say this before, but let me wish all of you moms a happy Mother's Day today. We wanted to take a moment and name this day and name the complexity that the day holds, that there are plenty of emotions around Mother's Day, right? Yes, I look around and I see a lot of amazing moms in this room, and I am grateful for all of you, and I want to celebrate all of you. There are moms in our life that we want to celebrate. There's also grief around motherhood in various different forms. So we want to name the complexity of this day and to say whatever emotion you're feeling right now, is perfectly fine. Whatever emotion comes, or 17 emotions all at once with this day, we want to name that and honor that and say, this is a space we can hold all of that together. So, for our prayer practice this morning, we wanted to give thanks to the people who have mothered us. It might be mom, it might be grandma, but it also might be a best friend's mom. It might be a best friend who has mothered us in some way. It might not even be a woman, okay? Men can provide mothering too, right? All of these things that we think of as care and compassion and nurturing that we often associate with moms, a lot of people do that for us. So we wanted to take a moment today to name those people and to just give gratitude for them. So we're going to do it in a couple of different ways. You have some options here. There is a heart on the table in the back with some little pieces of paper and some tape that if you would like to write down the name of a person who has mothered you well and you want to give thanks for, you can write their names down and put it on that heart as our collective mothering heart. You can send a note to somebody who has mothered you well, send them a text, write a little note, or you can simply stay where you are and give a prayer of gratitude for that person. We're going to take a couple of minutes here to name those people in our lives and give gratitude for those people, okay? And then we'll come back and move on here in just a little bit. So, ready, set, go. All right, everybody, you can make your way back to your seats if you haven't already. Finish writing whatever you're writing back there. And if you are 5th grade and below, you can go to the back Bethany and Mars are going to hang out with the older kids. Sarah is going to hang out with the littles. Before you head out, though, let's speak a word of blessing over you. Friends, may your time together be filled with wonder, joy, and friendship. You are loved. We'll see you back here right around communion time. All right, one more thing while they're heading out that we wanted to share with you. Matt, Lindsay, one of them, both of them, I don't know, are going to come up here and talk about another group that has started recently that is a regular rhythm here in the Life of the Branch on Wednesday nights. Thanks, you two.
Yeah, so Resilient Faith, we meet on Wednesday nights. We usually start the month off with a verse from the Bible, and I know sometimes for some of us that can automatically be triggering, but we're involving kids, we're questioning, we're looking at the verses and really questioning, a lot of questioning, and what does that really look like, and like, what is this really saying? All of that. And just the kids have great questions, and some of them we're not even able to answer. And then throughout the week, we do different things. We're finding different rhythms that we can practice. We're doing service projects. So Wednesday night from 5:30 to like 7:30, somewhere in there is usually when we quit. And it's tacos, so easy. Come eat with us. And just like there's no requirement for coming every week either. It's a in and out, come when you can, when it works for you, and don't feel obligated to come every week. Anything else you want to add?
Nailed it, Lindsay. Yep, all by yourself. Way to go. It's a great place to connect, to meet some people, to build a relationship, to serve, to learn, to grow. Grateful for them and their invitation to all of us. My name is Chris. If I haven't met you, I'm the other minister with Teresa here at the branch, and we're really glad to have you here today. We're going to continue a conversation on hope. We've been using this book as a bit of a guide, Hope, a User's Manual by Marianne McGibbon Dana. And she's been helpful in a lot of ways, but for me, she's been most helpful in that she's helped me think about hope in ways that are new. I'll confess, I think I had a pretty narrow idea or way of thinking about hope, and she's helped expand that some. So we'll get into this idea, but first I want to read the passage that we're going to look at this morning. It's from the end of the Gospel of John. John is the fourth book in the New Testament. And Jesus has, at this point in the story, been resurrected, and he now meets his disciples unexpectedly. He shows up along the seashore while they're out fishing, and he calls them in and ends up having breakfast with Peter and the disciples, but then Peter and Jesus end up having a conversation by themselves. And so in verse 15 we read this: When they had finished eating, Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" "Yes, Lord," he said. "You know that I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my lambs." Again, Jesus said, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" He answered, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." Jesus said, "Take care of my sheep." The third time, Jesus said to him, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" And Peter was hurt because Jesus asked him the third time, "Do you love me?" And he said, "Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my sheep." Very truly, I tell you, when you were younger, Peter, you dressed yourself and went where you wanted. But when you are old, you will stretch out your hands and someone else will dress you and lead you where you do not want to go. Jesus said this to indicate the kind of death by which Peter would glorify God, and then he said to him, "Follow me." In the 8th grade, the school that I went to had everyone fill out and complete a career placement assessment, which, looking back, is quite comical to me that in 8th grade they thought it was wise to hand a bunch of 14, 15-year-olds the idea that they could nail down their career path at that moment. But that's how I saw it. I thought this was an opportunity, the opportunity to decide who I was going to be and what I was going to do. I had 2 top results for that assessment. One of them was clergy. It's the most hilarious thing. Number one, I didn't know what clergy was. I didn't know that word. So I had to look it up, and then when I did, I said to myself, absolutely not, So therefore, the other option was to be a physical therapist. And they had us research these careers, so I didn't know much about being a physical therapist at all, but as I did the research, I learned, this is kind of cool. This, I think, does actually fit me. It involves a lot of science. I love science. It makes a fair amount of money. I like money. And it's a job that's going to be in demand for a while. Okay, well, that's a win too, right? So from 8th grade on, if you asked me, what are you going to do? Who are you going to be? I would say, well, I'm going to be a physical therapist. And that path continued for the next 7 years. I chose what college to go to based on what programs they had in this field. The classes I took once I got to college were all meant to get me to the point of being able to apply to grad school. And then the summer before my junior year of college, I decided it was a good idea, and I think it was, to volunteer at a physical therapy clinic, to shadow some physical therapists for a while. And this was a particular PT clinic that dealt with wound care for folks who were diabetic. And I left that 6-week experience. I kind of remember driving away thinking, I don't want to be a physical therapist if this is what it is. Now, little did I know, if I had only had someone next to me to say, hey, this is just one small type of what it looks like to be a physical therapist, that might have been helpful, but to me, this was physical therapy. And so I abandoned ship. Felt like I had no choice. And that really upended my world. My path had been so clear for so long. My future destination so certain. But now I had no idea what I would do and who I would be. And that lack of clarity about my future meant that hope became elusive for me. Hope had dried up, it seemed, evaporated. Have you ever been there? When hope seems to wither. I was in what some might call a liminal space. Have you heard of that term before? Liminality. If you were with us about 5 years ago, we actually did a series during the pandemic on it. And you might remember that a liminal space is an in-between space. When you're in a liminal space, you can't go back to what was, to the world as you knew it. The world as you knew it is gone. Something has happened, significant has happened. Maybe good. Could be something good, like you got married or got a huge promotion. That can change your world dramatically, but often we find ourselves in liminal spaces because something difficult has come, a loss, the death of a dream. And when we can't go back to the way that the world was because something has really significantly changed, it also means that we have no idea what the future looks like. We thought we maybe did at one point, like I did. I thought I knew my path and my career. But when something significant has shifted and you find yourself in this liminal space, it means that you have no idea what the future holds. The future is very unclear, very fuzzy. Well, Peter was in a liminal space, I would suggest to you, in that passage we just read. His world had been completely upended. Just days prior to that breakfast with Jesus, Jesus had died. Any death is upending, but this is the death of the one who everyone, all of his disciples, thought would change the world. He had died. That was enough to upend his life. And then Jesus rises from the dead, which I know sounds great, and I'm sure it was, but it was also very disorienting. Right? Someone came back from the dead. It's great. They were happy, I bet, and also very confused. They couldn't go back to the way that things were anymore. But they also, Peter and the others, didn't know what lied ahead. What was the future? Where were they going? What were they going to do, and how would they be? They didn't know any of that. They were in this liminal space. And let's not forget, as it's alluded to there in that passage that we read, Peter's life has also been upended because his relationship with Jesus has gone through something significant and hard. Because the last time that Peter saw Jesus, or was with him, or near him, he denied him publicly, adamantly 3 times. I don't even know the guy, he said. And so their relationship fractured. Peter comes to this breakfast presumably with a lot of guilt and shame. And so he's in this liminal space. He can't go back to the way that things were. He doesn't know what lies ahead. And in that liminal space, I wonder if for him, hope also felt elusive. McGibbon Dana, the book I showed you a moment ago, she offers wise counsel for when we find ourselves in liminal spaces. She says, when hope has evaporated, we would be wise to pursue proximate purpose. She borrows this idea actually from Susan Beaumont, who defines it as the next appropriate piece of work. Beaumont distinguishes between proximate purpose and aspirational purpose. She says there are some times in our lives when we can aspire to a future that is clear, a vision that is big and grand, and it can propel us, it can give us purpose in our lives. Have you ever had that? I hope you have, where you've had a compelling vision, a clear picture of the future. For me, it was physical therapy for a lot of years. This vision of who I would be and what I would do, that propelled me forward until it didn't anymore. And then I had to find a way to have purpose, to move, to keep going. And she says when you find yourself in those places, it might be wise to consider proximate. What is proximate to you, and let that give you purpose. See, there are seasons when we are too tired, too disoriented, too scared to see the future with any clarity. And Susan writes that in liminal seasons, when we can't visualize our destination, proximate purpose is more useful than aspirational purpose. Clarity of focus about our next few steps is more important than a fuzzy picture of an unrecognizable destination. I think I would be amiss to not say, even though we might all be tired of thinking it, it seems to me that collectively, nationally, we are in a liminal moment. So much has been upended about the way of life here in the United States. And the destination that we are headed to, whatever it might be, to me at least feels very fuzzy. That's kind of a best case. So what are we to do when hope is fleeting, when we're living in a world that feels so tumultuous, that has had so much change, when we're so tired and disillusioned by it all? What are we to do? Well, perhaps the best move we could make whenever life has upended us is to do the next right thing. When the first Frozen movie came out, my kids were of an age that we were all in. I watched or heard that movie being played more times than I can sing every song, okay? When I went to karaoke about 6 months ago for a birthday party for someone, the song I chose was Olaf's song, When He Comes Into Being, you know? So I was in, okay? I was all in on Frozen. When the second movie came out, we were excited, we saw it, but I only saw it once. My kids were quite a bit older. It wasn't also quite the same cultural touchstone, which is all to say, I completely forgot about one of the songs until it happened to come across my path this week. It's a song sung by Anna, the younger sister of Elsa. I'm not going to explain the movie to you. If you don't know, I'm so sorry. I'm just going to assume that everyone has some basic knowledge. You don't even need it, though. Anna, in this movie, in the second film, finds herself completely alone. Her sister is forged ahead. Olaf, that adorable snowman, has dissolved. A very important metaphor. Hope has dissolved. Kristoff, her love, is not with her. And there alone in a dark cave, she sings a song, The Next Right Thing. Here's some of the lyrics. I've seen dark before, but not like this. This is cold. This is empty. This is numb. This grief has a gravity that pulls me down, but a tiny voice whispers in my mind, you are lost. Hope is gone. But you must go on and do the next right thing. I won't look too far ahead. It's too much for me to take. But break it down to this next breath, this next step, this next choice is the one that I can make. It's a bit Disney-ish, you know, in its rhyming and its meter, but I don't know, there's something here that's very honest. I've seen dark before, but not this dark, she says. And hope is gone. What am I to do? Well, it's the next step. It's the next choice. It's that next right thing. Anna is in liminal space in the film. And I can imagine Peter, if he knew of these words, he might be able to make them his own. He might be able to sing this song as he sits on the shores of the Sea of Galilee. Anna doggedly, stubbornly takes a step in the film, just one. She can't see the end destination for where she's headed, so she takes the next step, and then the next. Peter is offered the same way forward. Jesus does not meet him with answers. Jesus does not give Peter a detailed plan of the future, or a theological explanation of the resurrection, or what the church is going to look like, or how Peter will play a role in it. No, Jesus meets Peter in his fatigue and disorientation with breakfast. And then a question. Do you love me? 3 times he asks him, once for every denial. And those questions, again, don't give Peter resolution or clarity about the future. He doesn't get a map. It's not what Jesus gives him. Jesus just offers him the next right thing, the next step. Feed my lambs. Take care of my sheep. Feed my sheep. 3 small steps stacked like rungs on a ladder. Not a destination, a direction. Not a vision, movement. And then, after all of that, after the grief and the shame and the disorientation of Peter's world being completely upended, Jesus says just 2 words: follow me. Again, friends, it's not a grand vision. It's not an aspirational picture for Peter to strive towards. It's proximate purpose in its most distilled form. You and I don't need to see the whole staircase. We just need to see Jesus right in front of us taking the next step. So maybe the question today is not so much, do you have a crystal clear picture of a hopeful future? If you do, hold on to it and pursue it by all means. But if you don't, if the future feels very uncertain, if you're paralyzed, in fact, because it is so unclear, then maybe the question is simply, what is the next step? As small as it may be, as insignificant as it may seem, what is the next step? My wife, Bethany and I have been going to the same gym for, I don't know, a long time, 7 or 8 years or something. We go at 6 in the morning. I'm still half asleep, so I don't talk to anyone, but she's much more bubbly. And so she's made a really great community at the gym. And she met about 6 months ago, maybe a little longer than that, a younger couple. Jonathan and Victoria are their names. And a couple of months ago, Jonathan and Victoria found their way through a whole series of just kind of what might feel like happenstance encounters and decisions. They found their way going to the North Lake Processing Center. Do you know this? What this is? This is the detention center up north from here, where people who have been arrested and detained by ICE are being held. They went up there with some other people who traveled there regularly to meet with people who were being detained, just to meet with them. Jonathan and Victoria didn't know anyone at the detention center. They just heard about this group of people that were going up there and meeting with people who wanted to be met with, and they thought they'd tag along. While there, they got, just by chance, matched with a young man named Ruben, a Venezuelan who came to the United States seeking asylum, came through all the legal pathways, was in the legal process of seeking that asylum and living in New York City at the time when he got picked up and detained and shipped to northern Michigan. He had been there for 3 months. He had never had one visitor until Jonathan and Victoria arrived, because what little family or connection he has is 12 hours away in New York. And he, unfortunately, was about to be deported. He was days away after they met him, so they couldn't do anything to help him. But that experience rattled them so much that they found themselves in a liminal space after meeting Ruben. You know what I mean? Like the world that they knew, they couldn't go back to it. They'd had an encounter that changed them so much that they now found themselves in this place upended out of love and care, anger, confusion. And they had no idea what to do. What do you do with this? What do you do now that you know someone who's in this system and who's about to be deported, by the way, not to their home country? I think he was being deported to Ecuador, to a place where he knows no one, and he was going to get dropped off on a street and have to figure out how to survive. What do you do with that? They had no idea. The future related to this for them was as blurry as it could be. What do we do? And they sat with that question for a long time, and then they decided to start doing the next right thing, the proximate thing to them. And so that meant for them starting to just tell people who they know were in their lives that they could tell that were safe, and they just started to share the story. That was their next right thing. Just start telling the story to people that they knew. And that started to kind of grow and ripple, and as they talked to people and as those conversations led to other conversations, after a number of weeks, they decided that the next right thing was to host an event. And so they hosted an event in a coffee shop over on Wealthy, invited whatever friends they could think of. They had about 15 people come. Bethany and I were two of them. And they tried to raise money for Reuben, so when he got dropped off in this foreign country, he would have some money to help him start a new life. And they brought in some speakers from nonprofits so that people could learn more about the situation. They were just trying to consistently do the next right thing. I sat in that experience for a couple of hours and I thought, I wish that so many other people that I know and love were here in the room, because I found it to be really encouraging and heartbreaking, both. Because what I learned is I listened to these different people who had tried to do the next proximate thing. I learned that there are actually things that anyone could be doing today, any of us could be doing if we wanted to help support and love people who have been impacted by this. And so, that's what this card is about on your seat. Next Sunday, we're hosting an event here in the evening in which you and us together have the chance to experience something close to maybe what Bethany and I experienced at that coffee shop. Jonathan and Victoria will be here, and they'll share their story in much greater depth and much better than I just did. You'll have the chance to hear about somebody who's actually been to a processing center. What a name, by the way. And hear what that is like and what they've seen and experienced and learned. And then we're going to have a couple of people from some local nonprofits who are like shoulder to shoulder with folks who are wrapped up and caught up in these latest immigration policies. And I think one of the things that you'll learn is that there are proximate things we can be doing that don't fix everything or don't even necessarily give us a clear picture of the future. In fact, they don't. But they are the next, maybe, a next right thing, a way of responding, a way of not getting paralyzed, which I think so easily happens for all of us, yes? We look at this world and we go, there's nothing I can do. And I think what this gathering will help all of us to see is that that's not true, actually. There are things we can do. And so I want to invite you to think about this, not only for yourself. I want to invite you to think about like who in your life maybe is feeling that hope is elusive. Who in your life has been feeling like the world has kind of upended them? Who might be encouraged? Who might find hope by joining us next week at 5 o'clock? As Teresa bribed you next Sunday morning with cake, I'll bribe you with pizza from JB's. We've actually been hosting a number of community conversations at JB's over the last year plus. And it's a lovely space, but we're actually hoping that more than 50 people, which is all we can fit in that space, would come to this. And again, I want to encourage you to invite somebody. And so that's why we're here. We love JB's, and it's a really nice neutral spot if we're trying to invite more than just the branch to come. But we're going to trust and hope that your invitation will be enough to persuade someone to come to a church building if they're not maybe typically in a space like this. So that's next Sunday. It's a really tangible way to do the next right thing and to not feel so hopeless. Again, I won't promise that it's going to fix everything. It's not even going to come close to doing that. But we have to be dogged. We have to be stubborn almost when it comes to this sort of thing. And we have to choose to keep moving, even if it's just the next step. I'll close with this quote from McGibbon Dana. We're writing the story of our lives all the time, but we don't get to see too far down the road. That doesn't mean we lose hope. Rather, we're free to keep the hope bite-sized and proximate, one next right thing at a time. We can help each other take some bite-sized chunks of hope into our minds and our hearts next week, and so hope you'll be here for that. Whether you're here next week or not, you're here right now. And this is I don't mean to be, kitschy, but this is a bite-sized way of embodying hope. I do think it's so interesting that the thing that Jesus gives to his disciples that has been passed on down to us, it's not just an idea. Jesus didn't say, sit down at a table and just tell each other about this thing that I've done. But it's a very embodied experience. We are literally taking things into our body. We are digesting these symbols and gifts of grace, of new starts, of forgiveness, and of hope. And so, anyone this morning who is hungry or thirsty for any of those things, you are welcome at this table. We would love to have you join us. We're going to share communion the way that we most typically do around here, which means we're going to have a station up front. We'll just do one today. And so up here, there will be someone with a gluten-free option. If you'd like that, just go to the person with this cute little bowl. If you want lots of gluten, you'll go to a person with a plate, and they'll place one of these pieces of bread into your open hand, and then you can take a cup from the other person who is serving that, bring them back to your seat, and we'll eat and drink them together. Friends, the gifts of God for the people of God. Amen. Who's willing and able to help serve communion today? Anyone is welcome to do that. That's somewhat of an unusual thing that we do here. We welcome anyone to help serve these gifts. Come on up, Steve. That'd be great. Do you do that one? That'd be lovely. Thanks. Kevin, would you serve this one? Beautiful. We'll stay right up here. Friends, whenever you are ready, if you would like to join us in this meal, we invite you to do that right now. On the night when he was betrayed, Jesus, what are you guys just coming back? Do you want to get in on this real quick? This is your opportunity. Yep. You're good? Okay. On the night when he was betrayed, Jesus took a loaf of bread, and after giving thanks, he broke it and gave it to them, saying, "Take, eat. This is my body. Do this in remembrance of me." We do that together. And after they had eaten, he took a cup, and pouring it out, he said, "This cup is the new cup, the new covenant poured out in my blood. Do this in remembrance of me." May we be refueled with hope as we share this meal, as we sing songs, as we offer our prayers. Amen and amen. We'll pass these little baskets around. You can put your cups in them, and we'll take it from there.
I'm going to invite you to stand and sing one more time. It's a song called "Teach Us Your Ways." Maybe when we don't even know what the next right thing is, a good person to look to is Jesus, as he has shown us what the next right thing is in all of his life and ministry as well. Let's sing together. Teach us your ways. Teach us your ways as we learn from one another. Learn to love each other. Teach us your ways. Teach us to give. Teach us to give. Give ourselves for one another. Learn to love each other. Teach us to give. Teach us to weep. Teach us to weep. Let us weep with one another. Learn to love each other. Teach us to weep. Let us learn from one another. Learn to love each other. Teach us your ways.
I'm always grateful for Teresa's musical gifts and her willingness to share them, but hold up your hand. No, not that one. She has two fingers taped together, and all making her all the more impressive is all my point is. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
We'll blame that on all the mistakes. Let's
How long should we stall before the rest of the children are up here, do you
It's a
think?
great question. It's your wife who's hanging out.
Yeah,
with
yeah, I know,
downstairs,
I know.
so,
You know, we can play it cool. I could preach longer next time.
Good,
That's also
yeah,
an option.
Good, good. We can
yeah.
sing the song again.
We could sing it again.
There's more bread. This is the best
I
idea,
will
Matt.
not
Well
be
done.
karaokeing here for your pleasure. No, no. We'll trust that the children will make their way back to the appropriate people. If you're a parent, you need to go and you'd like to go grab your kids. They're just downstairs. And Teresa, I would be happy to show you if you're not quite sure where that is. But okay. Next Sunday it's a big Sunday for us. Maybe a little unwise for us to plan this so late in May. We know how also crazy May is. But alas, here we are, and we trust that it will work itself out. In the morning, we have this really lovely opportunity to talk about our future together, and then again, coming back in the evening for this hope in action. So keep next Sunday on your radar. And until then, may you be people this week who find hope, and who find hope even if the vision of the future is cloudy and blurry at best. Find hope in doing the next right thing. Take the next step. Keep moving forward doggedly, stubbornly, and again, in doing so, find hope. Be those people, we would pray. Amen. Thanks, everyone. Lovely to see you. Enjoy the sunshine. Thanks for being here.